It is our first full day ever in New Orleans, but instead of going to the French Quarter,
we're going to spend the day strolling through gardens. There's a cat! Seeing what City Park has to offer and hopefully get into this park. They have a ginormous Alice, but we want to see if doing so is worth it.
Or if we'll come crawling back to the vibrant French Quarter.
To kick things off, we are going to do a tour of Longue Vue House Gardens, which is supposed to be a beautiful mansion here in New Orleans.
We always try to tour a historic home when we go to new places, so let's check it out.
When you get here, you have to check in at the gatehouse, which we just did, and I stupidly got tickets for the wrong time, but they were very nice about it and are letting us do another tour for a different time. But we have some time to kill, and so we're going to explore some of the gardens and then tour the house. If we thought this little fountain was nice, we were wrong, because this one is amazing. It's so beautiful!
This is so cool. I've never seen a path like this before. It's made out of individual rocks, like flipped on their side. It's very mesmerizing to look at.
Oh my gosh, a lizard! It's like some Spider-Man action. We have not toured the house yet, but we have just seen it for the first time, and this is gorgeous. It feels like we're in Europe.
I love everything about this. The trees, the path leading up to the house, like these little sculptures I got on the side.
I feel like how Maria felt in The Sound of Music when she pulled up to the Von Trapp family. Let's go see the house.
Longue Vue was the family home of Edith and Edgar Stern. Edgar made his money in the cotton industry, but Edith completely influenced the home, adding everything from a flower arranging room to a gift wrapping station.
When can I move in? That house was beautiful. We had the tour all to ourselves, so it paid for me to pick the wrong time for our tour because we got our own private tour.
Yeah, we saw a lot more of the house than I thought we would.
Yes.
It's almost like a maze at times. Like, you open a door and it just keeps going.
Our tour guide knew so much about this home, and so many facts I'm trying to keep straight in my head. Like, this was the first house in New Orleans to have air conditioning, and it's called Longue Vue because Edith and Edgar, they got engaged at a restaurant called Longue Vue, I believe in the Hamptons. I have not thought about the French Quarter once while we were there because it was just, we were totally immersed in the house. I've had a few family members who have been to New Orleans, and when I asked them, what should I do here? Every single one of them said, eat a beignet. That was it, just eat a beignet. So there's a Cafe Du Monde in City Park, which sells beignets. So we are going to try beignets for the very first time.
Oh, baby. Woo-hoo. Oh my God. That's why they gave us a lot of napkins. It's pretty good. Worth the wait, I would say.
Oh, they're so soft. I'm seeing what all the hype is about. It's like a donut with powdered sugar on it, but it's not quite a donut. Do I have powdered sugar on my lips? Even though we waited in line for what seemed like forever, I was expecting a ton of people when we walked in here and there was hardly anyone, so I think the vibe here is probably more calm and relaxed than in the French Quarter, so I'm glad we had our first beignet at the Cafe Du Monde in City Park as opposed to French Quarter. We're now headed to the New Orleans Botanical Gardens, and rumor has it includes a train garden, a Japanese garden, and a butterfly garden. Stop! This whole train set is like a mini New Orleans. It's so cute!
I really love this garden. It's so fun and whimsical. I think my favorite part is finding all the miniature buildings that you would see in New Orleans. Very nice touch.
But you have a little caterpillar on you. We gotta get it off.
I don't want to hurt it.
Come on, little fella. I said, come on, little fella. Yeah.
Is it working?
Right next door to the train garden is the Japanese garden.
If they don't have koi fish, I'm turning around. It's not worth my time. Every Japanese garden needs koi fish.
Ooh. It's wild how completely different the atmosphere just changed from the train garden. Now it legitimately feels like we're in Japan. There's a cat. Okay. You all clean now from your little brat, huh?
Well, I'm afraid I came off as a jerk because I said I was going to walk out if there's no koi pond, koi fish, but it was still a really cool garden. No koi fish, but they have a cat, so that's a nice consolation prize.
There's a lizard. It's very unbothered that I'm here, but I'm bothered by it. So far, we have not seen a single butterfly, but we have seen a lot of lizards. Having some allergy issues here.
Contacts.
Okay. Who needs the French Quarter when you have Storyland? If I were a kid, I would be losing my mind right now. They have a ginormous Alice. She definitely looks like she's had 1 or 2 mushrooms. Even if you're not a child like us, you can still appreciate the artwork here. A lot of the sculptures here were made by people who make parade floats for Mardi Gras. He's having a blast. 5-minute break.
These bones are getting pretty old.
Okay, we're literally stuck in here currently. The exit there is locked. So we are trying to find how to get out of this Storyland. We had to ask an employee, 2 grown adults, how do we get out of this children's playground, sir? Freedom.
City Park in New Orleans is twice as long as New York City Central Park, so we're going to explore it. There's a sculpture garden here that seems pretty cool, and maybe we can ride a swan boat.
There is a sculpture garden here, and we keep seeing the sculpture garden, but we do not know how to enter the sculpture garden.
I feel like we've walked around most of the garden without finding an entrance.
Let me in! The sculpture garden was a bust, so we're going to try to go on swan boats. They have swan boats here on Big Lake. The only problem is no one is out currently on the lake on a swan boat, so we're hoping that's open. It says online that it's open, but we shall see.
It's not looking good right now.
You have to be kidding. You have to be kidding. Swan boats are closed due to high winds. It's like 15 miles per hour right now. Strike 2 on things that we wanted to do in City Park. Part of it's my fault. We didn't look at the time of the sculpture garden.
Yeah.
Didn't know about the winds though. It is not windy
It's not.
currently.
No.
So now we're debating if we should rent one of these bike things or if we just go to the French Quarter.
Well, maybe we should just get to the French Quarter. I don't know. We're striking out here.
We stumbled upon the Great Lawn, and this feels like the perfect spring evening. The breeze is running through my hair, the sun's going down, people are flying kites. It's beautiful here. I think all signs were pointing towards coming back to the French Quarter. And there's one thing that we have not done yet here in New Orleans that we want to, which is to go to Pat O'Brien's and try to get a hurricane and try to see Dueling Pianos.
Yes. It's the home of the hurricane cocktail, and I like a hurricane cocktail. It's fruity, delicious. So I hope it's really good.
And I've never had one. Pretty much everyone has a hurricane on their table.
Let's go, baby. Let's go. It's yummy. It's fruity. I'm glad I got it.
Okay, full transparency. I do not really drink alcohol, so okay. Like at first, it tastes like fruit punch, but then it just burns.
The gumbo is pretty decent, although I feel like I could find better gumbo in New Orleans. I think the quest continues because gumbo was one of the dishes I had to get in New Orleans, and I think I could do a little bit better than this.
I have never had gumbo before, so Corey and I are going to split this dish. I think this is delicious. Got like a little kick to it. All right, dinner's done. Hurricane's almost done. Now we're going to the piano lounge to experience dueling pianos, which is something I have always wanted to see, in which there's two different piano players and they kind of do like this impromptu session. So one like does its own thing, one does its own thing, and that's my understanding of it. But I don't fully know because I have never done it.
See you next time as we explore the supernatural side of New Orleans.
Okay. Excuse me.
You gotta give it a whiff.